All right. So today I'm going to throw some light on the customer exit, and in that we are going to see what is a menu exit. So menu exit, when we speak about menu exit, what does it mean? Basically, in every transaction code, we have some inbuilt menus that is available at the top. So what we are going to do is we are going to add an option into that particular menu, and we are going to assign some functionalities to that particular option which is present inside the menu. One more thing to highlight here is if you want to add something, and obviously you have to have some provisions to add that particular change. Say for example, in a customer exit, in a customer exit, if you have the provision for adding a menu, you can add that particular menu to that particular transaction. And if you have a provision to add a screen, only then you can add a screen to that particular transaction. So this is what you have to know at the primary level. And we will be seeing couple of new transaction codes and to implement this customer exits, and how do we carry out that particular change. Before we start on, I would like to show what we are going to see as an output. So this is a different server because I'm going to create this customer exit in a different server, because once it is created, it cannot be properly taken out in a trial system. So make sure that you stick to this video, and if you have any other servers to practice, please use that for this alone. So I've used KO02 transaction code, which is changing order, and I went with, okay, anything you can go with. And usually, as you know, this will take some time. So if you can see here, this is the default tabs and these are the default menus. So I have added a menu. This is my menu which I have added. New button is my menu. Now the actual logic behind this particular enhancement is, I have different tabs here, and the basic thing is I want to update these tabs when I click on this particular button. So previously in this menu, this option is not present, and there is no change in the layouts. There is a only change and the functionality which is written to this particular button. So if I click on this, automatically you will find values populated to this particular fields. And one more thing is, before this particular enhancement is activated, this button will not be available. So this is for our today's deal. So what we are going to do today is we are going to add an option to an existing menu, and we are going to assign some functionalities to this option. And when we click on this particular option, I have meant we are going to populate some fields onto the standard transaction. So our basic thing today is how are we going to find out what are the various exits available inside a particular program, and what we are going to do is what are the ways to implement this particular exit, where you have to write the logics for this exit and all these stuffs. And one more thing about this particular menu exit is it is widely used in SAP. In all the implementations, new level implementations, you will be seeing such sorts of menu exits which has been implemented. So to give you a basic level understanding of what we are going to do step by step is first we are going to go into the transaction code. So go to the T code where you want to add this particular menu option, and in our case it is KO02. And the second thing is like find the package behind this transaction. So this is number 2. The third thing that you're going to do is like from the package find out the exits, and once after identifying the exit, create a program to implement the exit. Then finally add the functionality to the menu exit, then test your program again. So these are the exact steps which we are going to follow in order to execute that particular enhancement functionality. Alright, now the basic question is doing the enhancement takes a very minimal time, whereas finding the exit takes a lot of time. So I'm going to show you what are the ways to find it, how to drill down into a program, and how to find a package of the program, and all these stuffs in some time. So I'm going to another server just to show you how it is going to be implemented newly, and I'm going into the same server name. I can share you the server details of both this particular logins so that you can just compare and see it. Alright, so this is a brand new server where I've not implemented anything. So you can see I'm going inside the same transaction code KO02, and I'm going to give an order. Okay, no issues. Okay, we'll go for a different one, but to make sure that that button is not available here. So we have not still added it. So if you see this particular order number, if I go into it, I can find this particular general data tab unfilled, and you can find the extras. There is no options which has been added newly. So now our basic responsibility is to find how do you go and add this particular functionality onto this menu. Alright, so the first thing that we do is, if you remember, I told you like we have to alright, so first thing is like we have to find the package of this particular program. So how do you go and find the package of this particular program? So go to Systems, Status, here we find the program name. Just double click on the program name, and once after reaching the program, just go to object directory entry, where you can find the package name. So copy this particular package and just come out of this particular program. So the basic intention of going into the program is to just find the package. And here we go with two transaction codes whenever we speak about enhancements. So the first transaction code is to find what are the exits that is available. So that transaction code is called smod. Right? So smod transaction code. So you have, if you know the enhancement name, you can directly give the enhancement name. And obviously, if you don't know, in order to find what is the exit that is available with this particular transaction, it's like just go to the F4 help and go to the information system and give the package name here and click on continue. So here you will be finding almost all the exit names that is available inside the package KAUF. So we know literally KAUF contains the programs and the screens for the transaction code KO02. And if you see, you have to read basically like in rough cases, these enhancement types will be given by the in the specification itself. So if it is not given, this is the way to find it out. So you can find customer function for master data maintenance. So we are talking about the customer function. You can see. So these are the general data. These are the customer data. So we have to do the same thing over here. So I'm going with, I think this particular second exit name will suffice my requirement. So I double click that and that comes in this particular field. Once after entering that particular exit name, selecting this particular exit name, the first thing that you have to do is like go to the documentation section and read out what is inside the documentation. Alright, so this is very important. So when you are reading out the documentation, only then you can find, okay, this is going to be the exit name that is going to really help me out in adding the additional data. So see here, additional data for the orders. So this is what is our exact requirement. So we got the exit name. The next thing is we have to find whether we can add an menu exit in this particular exit. So go to the components and just click on display just to check whether this is possible. So the first thing is the function module. Leave this particular thing. As of our basic thing is you can find this particular program. So it means that we can do something from our end. Leave this particular thing here itself, and we very well understood that this is going to be our exit name. So I'm going to copy this exit name, and the next thing that I'm going to do is like I'm going to execute my exit. So smod is used to find what is the exit, whereas cmod is used to implement an exit. So in this case, I'm going to go with cmod, and here is where I create a project for my enhancement. So now I'm going to click on create. So once I click on create, I have to give this short description. And just click on save. So local objects, no change in it. So once this is done, the next thing that you have to do is go to the enhancement assignment. In this enhancement assignment, give the enhancement name that you have copied. Just click on enter. So automatically our SAP pulls out, so what is the actual description for this particular enhancement. Great. So once this is done, go into the components, save it, and you will be reaching here. So the first thing that you have to do is like you have to change this particular thing, and you have to double click on the menu exit. Once you double click, what is the name that you have to give your options? Say for example, in my last program case, I've given custom button or add button. So this time I'm giving additional data, and just give on copy. So you can create a new request. Right, so we have just had created recently with the new name. We have given a new name for the function that we are going to use. All right, then we have just given a name for this particular menu, and we have just did some small transport request. We have just created with a transport request. Now the second thing that you have to do is like we have to click on this particular function exit to write the logic for this menu exit in Ascend our program. So double click this, where it will take you to a function module. So this is it, and you can find this particular include. So what I'm going to do is like I have to write the logic. So I'm going into this particular include. And after getting this particular warning, the next thing that you have to do is like click on enter. And create the include. Just click on S. If you can find here, this is already implemented one. So I'm going to explain you that. So where we were is like I entered into this particular exit name. Inside this exit name, what I've did is like I've activated this particular include. So before we go into that particular include, logics inside the include, we should know what are the parameters that we should use. So basically, in order to know the parameters, we have to go to the options. You can see here user fields, and you can see user 0 to user 9, and also you can find here what does it mean. You can see here, so values, and that is referred to as structure. So whatever you are going to do is going to be saved in this particular structure. How do I find that this is user 0 and this is user 1? All these stuffs I'll show you. So our basic transaction is KO02. So give an order number. So you can go to the general data and find the technical informations behind this. So this is nothing but user 0. So my basic thing is like I'm going to populate these three fields, user 0, user 1 and user 2, which I already have seen. So for your information, this is 0, 1 and 2. So I'm going to populate this. So what I'm going to do here is like inside my code. So this is what is available in here. Parameter name. And whatever parameter I want to give the values, I will give with hyphen user 0, hyphen user 1, hyphen user 2. That's what I've done here. Simple. So I've given this parameter name hyphen user 0 is equal to test 0, hyphen user 1 is equal to test 1, hyphen user 2 is equal to test 2. Then what I did is like I've activated this particular program, came back, activated this particular function module, came back, activated this particular enhancement package, whatever I have done. So once after I activate this particular program, If I go inside my KO02, I will be seeing this extra button which is being given by me. And to make sure that this is the button that we have created, just once again go to display and you can find the components. Double click this. You can find that this is the button name which I have given. So this is reflected in here. Alright, once I click on this, I'll be getting this populated data. And obviously we need not worry about how it is going to be stored because we didn't add any fields in addition. What we have done is like we have added this functionality to just populate this already existing fields inside the transaction. So this is what we have done. So in the coming classes, means maybe like tomorrow, what we are planning to do is like we are going to add one particular tab to add a screen and add some fields to the particular screen. So this is what we are going to do. Uh, uh, we'll meet out with the menu exit, sorry, the screen exits, the next lecture. Thank you.